Once upon a time, in a small town named Harmonia, lived a family known to all as the Generous Family. Harmonia was a place of peace and tranquility, where the birds sang sweet melodies and flowers bloomed in vibrant colors. In this heartwarming town, the Generous Family was an embodiment of love and kindness. The family was composed of Mr. and Mrs. Generous, and their two delightful children, Grace and Gabriel. Mr. and Mrs. Generous, true to their name, were always the first to lend a helping hand. Their hearts were as vast as the ocean, brimming with love for everyone around them. Their children, Grace and Gabriel, were no different. They were taught the virtues of kindness and generosity from a young age, and they practiced these virtues with an open heart. Their laughter was contagious, their smiles could brighten up the gloomiest of days, and their acts of kindness were a beacon of hope for many. They were known far and wide for their selfless acts, and their home was a sanctuary for those in need. Their generosity knew no bounds, and their kindness was their trademark. And so our tale begins with the Generous Family in the heart of Harmonia. The sun rises in Harmonia, and with it, the Generous Family begins their day. As the first light of dawn peeks through their windows, the family prepares for another day of spreading kindness and goodwill. Grace, the eldest daughter, is the first up. She ties her hair in a neat ponytail and heads out, a twinkle in her eyes and a spring in her step. Down the street, Mrs. Henderson, an elderly neighbor, is struggling with her grocery bags. Without a second thought, Grace steps in, taking the heavy bags from her and carrying them all the way to Mrs. Henderson's kitchen. The old woman's grateful smile is the perfect start to Grace's day. Meanwhile, at Harmonia Elementary, Gabriel, the middle child, is busy sharing his lunch with his best friend Max. Max's parents have fallen on hard times, and sometimes he comes to school without lunch. But Gabriel, ever the generous soul, always has extra to share. He believes that a meal is best enjoyed when shared, and his friend's laughter is the only thanks he needs. Back at home, the parents, Mr. and Mrs. Generous, are busy themselves. They spend their afternoons volunteering at the local community center, helping with everything from organizing charity events to serving hot meals to the less fortunate. Their hands are never idle, their hearts never tired. They believe in leading by example, demonstrating to their children that generosity isn't an act, but a way of life. As the day winds down, the Generous Family gathers at their dinner table, sharing stories of their day. Their faces glow with the satisfaction of having made a difference, however small. They know that every act of kindness, every shared meal, every helping hand, adds up to make their community a better place. As the sun sets, the Generous Family rests, knowing they've made a positive impact on their community. Their dreams are filled with hope and warmth, ready to face another day in the life of the Generous Family. But even in Harmonia, hard times can fall, and the Generous Family was no exception. Imagine the sun setting on a day like any other, but with a shadow of uncertainty looming over the Generous Family. Their once thriving business had hit a rough patch. Money, which was never a concern before, had become scarce. The family was facing a financial struggle, a situation they had never experienced before. But did it dampen their spirits? Was their generosity held back? Absolutely not. The Generous Family believed that their wealth was not measured in coins and notes, but in the love and kindness they shared with their community. Their wealth was their spirit of giving, and that was something no hardship could take away. Despite their own difficulties, they continued supporting their neighbors, friends, and even strangers. They shared meals with those who were hungry, offered comforting words to those who were sad, and lent a helping hand to those in need. They showed everyone around them that generosity isn't about the size of your wallet, but about the size of your heart. The children of the family, even though they had to give up some of their own comforts, never complained. They understood the value of sharing and caring. They knew that the warmth they felt in their hearts when they helped others was worth more than any toy or treat. In the midst of their financial struggle, the Generous Family continued to live up to their name. They were not just generous with their money, but with their time, their love, and their kindness. They knew that these were the things that truly mattered, the things that made a difference in the world. Through their actions, the generous family taught everyone in Harmonia an important lesson. They showed that even when times are tough, the spirit of generosity can shine brightly. They demonstrated that it's not about how much you have, but about how much you're willing to give. Even in the face of adversity, the generous family stayed true to their name. Word of the generous family's struggles spread throughout Harmonia. The winds of hardship had blown their way, and the whispers of their plight echoed among the cobblestone streets and quaint houses. Yet this was a town woven tightly with threads of community and kindness, a place where the seeds of good deeds often bloomed into the most beautiful flowers. As the sun rose on a new day, the townsfolk of Harmonia responded, their hearts filled with a desire to return the kindness the generous family had always shown. Neighbors, with arms laden with hearty meals, made their way to the family's doorstep. The aroma of home-cooked food filled their home, replacing the heaviness of worry with the warmth of community spirit. Friends, too, stepped forward, their hands outstretched, not in need, but in offering. They gave their time, their skills, their resources, standing shoulder to shoulder with the family they had come to admire. The generous family, once the providers of comfort, found themselves wrapped in the caring embrace of their friends. And it didn't stop there. The community centre, the heart of Harmonia, held a fundraiser. It was a day filled with laughter, love, and the clinking of coins as everyone chipped in. The children sold lemonade, the adults organised a bake sale, and the elders told stories that warmed hearts and opened wallets. Every dime, every dollar was a testament to the town's collective spirit of giving. The town's response was a powerful symphony of shared strength and mutual support. It was a testament to the fact that when one gives generously, the world often gives back, sometimes in the most unexpected ways. It was a lesson that the townsfolk of Harmonia would always remember, a story that they would pass down through generations. And so the town of Harmonia showed that generosity, once given, often returns. In the end, the generous family's kindness had woven a web of compassion throughout Harmonia. The family, with their open hearts and helping hands, had sown seeds of love and generosity that had taken root in every corner of the town. Their everyday acts of kindness, from sharing their meals with the less fortunate to offering a comforting word to a disheartened neighbor, had become a beacon of hope in Harmonia. Their spirit of giving was contagious. It spread from one household to another, transforming a once indifferent town into a close-knit community. Their generosity radiated warmth and goodwill, encouraging others to open their hearts and extend their hands in kindness as well. In this way, the generous family had not only changed their lives, but they had also changed the very fabric of Harmonia. When the hard times fell upon the generous family, the town of Harmonia did not stand by and watch. The kindness and generosity that the family had shown to the community was returned in full measure. The townsfolk, who had once been the beneficiaries of the family's kindness, became their biggest supporters. They rallied around the family, providing them with the help and support they needed to overcome their challenges. This is the power of generosity. It is not a one-way street, but a cycle of giving and receiving. The generous family's acts of kindness had not only benefited those they had helped, but had also enriched their own lives in ways they could never have imagined. And so, the story of the generous family teaches us that generosity is a powerful force, capable of not just changing a single life, but an entire community.